All right, I see. This is I got all the youngs out there tonight. Hearing that song that really takes them back to high school. I'm sure one of your favorite pop hits from the 2018 or something, right? Good. Well, anyway, we are here with the Scary Alvarez podcast. Not sure what episode this one's going to end up being, but we got a fun one tonight. And I wanted to point out to all the listeners out there. I want to thank you for being a part of this. It's already lasted longer than PJ Fleck had a bathroom mirror after a shower. So we're doing pretty well here. I'm your host, Scary Alvarez, Wine Island enjoyer, share your wine destroyer, Jake's grandpa, and Cindy's plus one when she'll have me. And some people have been on here already. They say I look a little different in person. What do you guys think?
Oh yeah, just a little different.
Yeah, remember to speak up here. I got a loud ass voice.
He looks, like the youngest one here, and we're all college students. So, I think that's a testament.
This is great. I feel like we're doing like a reboot of the movie Old School, and I'm Mitch. This is great. No hazing or throwing cinder blocks off the. You guys even know what that movie is. Okay, we'll get there. We're gonna bridge this generation gap. We're gonna die trying tonight. So we're trying something a little different with the podcast tonight. We love providing robust conversations with Badger luminaries, players, coaches, broadcasters. But I thought it'd be fun to hear from the kids. These are actual youngs, Wisconsin students, ticket holders who may or may not be the ones you're bitching about getting their seats 8 minutes after the game starts, but they can explain what some of the logistical problems are there. I just want to say welcome, everybody. Remember, I implored you earlier to speak loudly. Pretend I'm an old school Badger journalist yelling at you for not hitting the Luke Fickell hire. So let's go clockwise. Hey, Caden, why don't you start us off and just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Scary. It's an honor to be on the pod. So I'm an honorary member of God's Little Boys, the group chat that drives Wisconsin Twitter. Just graduated from UW.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. It'll happen from time to time. Speak up a little more, and I don't know how deep you want to get into what the name of that chat is, but there are going to be people in my dozens of listeners here tonight that are going to wonder what does God's Little Boy chat mean? Can you give us some hints as to what that might be referring to? You don't have to.
God's Little Boy is the future of Wisconsin football. That's what it is.
Okay.
We'll be finding that out in the next few years here.
Let's just say the real ones know. Yeah, the real ones know. I'm sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
Yeah, so just graduated from UW-Madison this May. Known some of these guys for the past few years. Some of them only met in person once or twice, but yeah, good group of guys that care a lot about Wisconsin sports.
Love it. Ryan, why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, so I graduated with Caden. I'm not from Wisconsin, so my Wisconsin fandom started in 2019. So any heartbreak before that, I don't really share, but I can look back upon it. But in our 4 years, Wisconsin sports were very different 4 years ago than they are now, hopefully for better, but it really was a different time, and we saw a lot of tough times in our 4 years, but hopefully we're better off on this end of it.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely seize upon the upswing of recent months on this podcast, and we'll revisit some of those dark days too. That's what we do. Nathan.
Yeah, so I might be the only one that didn't go to Wisconsin, didn't go to Madison. I'm from here, but I went to UW Oshkosh. But I've been a Badger fan since I moved up here from Indiana when John Stocco was the quarterback, and I tried to be like him at recess, and ever since then, just bleed red, literally and figuratively. But yeah, no, huge Badger fan, part of God's Little Boys chat, like Caden said, met some of these guys, and yeah, just super excited.
And let me compliment you before we move on the incredible, momentous state upgrade that you made from Indiana to Wisconsin. That's some rough stuff, buddy.
Oh yeah, no, it's by far better here.
I see you have a Rose Bowl champion shirt there, so clearly you're not talking about the Bielema era. JJ, tell us about yourself, bud.
On the note of moving from Wisconsin to Indiana, I graduated from my freshman year at the University of Wisconsin, but then transferred to the University of Notre Dame. I was already in the distinguished God's Little Boy chat. I was a founding member at that time, and they didn't kick me out, so I just kind of stayed in. And
So you were the JJ. You were the player to be named later in the Nathan trade.
Correct. Yeah, no. So I think, when we lost Joe, I think we kind of hit a critical mass as to how many people we could have in the chat. So they needed to keep me in, and then they just forgot to get rid of me eventually. So I just stayed on, and eventually I established myself as a core member, and I'm quite proud of that achievement because I would not have blamed them at all for kicking me out after I transferred.
Hey, what was it like downgrading colleges?
It was a weird experience. I didn't get to see Ryan's friendly face every day in poli-sci class, which was an unfortunate change of pace. But I also was able to go to sporting events, which was another nice change of pace on the other side. Gotcha.
We're talking about the COVID year.
Yeah, I was a freshman. I got COVID my second day, I believe, at Wisconsin, which is just not the introduction you're looking for. I survived. I'm trying to remember which dorm we got put in, but it wasn't a nice one. I'll tell you that much. I did my time. I made it out, and I loved my time at Wisconsin, but I also knew it was probably time for a refresh by the end of my freshman year.
Gotcha. So poli-sci major. So you guys going to law school?
I'm trying to become a journalist. Ryan is, I believe, trying to become a teacher. I don't want to speak to him, but I believe that is the plan. So yeah, no, we're not doing any more poli-sci degrees as is poli-sci tradition.
Very good. Love it. And Ike, what do you got, bud?
Yeah, I'm a Wisconsin grandpa, loud and proud. I run the Twitter account Digital Crunchwrap, and so yeah, I guess lived in Wisconsin my whole life. Yeah, that's all I got. Yeah.
Hey man, easy there, man. You can't, I'm going to slow you down here.
Come on for it.
Whereabouts in Wisconsin do you live?
Madison.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look, I may be biased, but if you're going to live in Wisconsin,
member that didn't join this podcast, he lives in Madison.
Repeat that, JJ?
Unlike a certain chat member that may or may not have opted out of this podcast, he actually lives in Madison.
Yeah, he opted out.
It's so unfortunate, but yeah, I've lived in Madison my whole life. I guess up the street from Camp Randall. Just like you go down my street, and you go far enough, you get to Camp Randall. So
okay, so are your parents professors?
No. I live in the same house that my grandma bought when she came to Madison.
Oh damn!
It just so happens to be. Yeah. Just so happens to be, kind of, in the same area. Like, if it's windy enough, you could hear a jump around from my front yard.
I love it. And by the way, I'm not sure what's going on, man, but I like what you got going with your ears, though. That's funky. It's like Stevie Wonder kind of.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. I'm gonna make you feel. And by the way, I want you to show as a Wisconsin grandpa of some renown. I want you to show the viewers what you got going there on your shirt.
Oh yeah. Just the Wisconsin. Oh, I gotta lose it right. But yeah, just a Wisconsin grandpa shirt. Yeah,
it's amazing.
Find it at any UW University bookstore.
Yeah, you might be Wisconsin grandpa, but I bet your grandson doesn't play for the Cowboys, buddy.
No, that is true. He does not.
It's okay. Can't be everyone.
No, I can't. But
so, and we made a reference to God's Little Boy chat, and I think we're giving the crowd let me see if I can summarize this. If I understand this correctly, I want to make sure I understand what y'all do there. This is a kind of a loose association of affiliates, Wisconsin fans, who some of y'all know each other in college. Some of you bring plus ones in. Some people are just interlopers that just kind of crashed it somehow. We got a couple of evil Lukes, all kinds of. It's a motley crew. Is that fair to say?
It's a nice way to put it.
Yeah, not like the band.
Just a group of guys.
There's just a lot of chat. I feel like we could have done a podcast entirely just detailing the lore of this chat and the history of 3 years now. But I think we can just go with a summary that it's a eclectic group.
It started with the Mertz, Illinois game, so
Ooh.
a real time, and then it's kind of gone up and down since then.
Are you suggesting that is the best that ever was?
It was the most optimistic it probably ever was.
Yeah. And by the way, y'all know this, and we don't have to drag this out now. You know, I understand that Graham had its ups and downs, but I've been pretty clear about this on Twitter. I'm really rooting for the kid, and I was very happy to hear he's starting for Florida. And if he can come up there and have a solid year for the Gators, that would make me real happy. I mean, I just it's not just like getting street credit for Wisconsin. It's just he's by all accounts he does it. This is not that unusual for Wisconsin kids, but he does it the right way. And the people who know him love him. And I'm really rooting for him. That's a really tough conference of defenses to go up against, but we'll see how it goes.
I mean, 2 weeks from right now, he's going to be on ESPN at Utah. Like, that's pretty crazy to think about.
Mm-hmm.
We survived.
Yeah.
We survived Joe's narrative that Jack Cohn should have been the starter in 2020, and I think if we survive that, we could survive anything.
Yeah, I used to fight so hard for Graham Mertz on Twitter. You know, I don't know. I remember the Graham Mertz was Surgeon's bandwagon days. They were tough.
Caden, do you still have the Graham Mertz T-shirt jersey?
Unfortunately, I do. But yeah, Graham took a lot of flack. Handled it the right way. Good kid, you know. He could have been a complete asshole in that locker room, but just kept his head down and worked.
Yeah, like he was a highly, highly talented kid coming out. Like you said, Caden, he could have just been a major asshole about it, not starting right away, not being in a quarterback-friendly offense. But, he was always the first one to say, hey, it's my fault. Hey, I should have played better, all this stuff, and got to respect him for sure.
Yeah, I agreed. And like I said, I always rooted hard for him because I know through the grapevine what a great kid he is and what a great teammate he is. And we'll see. This doesn't have to be the Graham Mertz show and the Graham Mertz retrospective, but I'm wishing him all the best this fall. It's kind of there are going to be some questions. I'm just going to have the first person jump in, so we're not going like clockwise, counterclockwise. Caden Ryan, let's not do this every episode, but just kind of jump in there and kind of fight for it like the last Shedberger. What is the best Wisconsin Badger game that you've ever been to in any sport in your time at Wisconsin or your time being a fan?
It's got to be Purdue basketball. I mean, Caden, you have to bet. It's got to be. For us, it's got to be Purdue basketball last year.
All right. See, Purdue basketball.
That's a man who never saw the women's soccer penalty shootout win over Northwestern in 2020. Shame.
I was there, JJ. I was there.
It was electric.
Oh, good.
Me and all the parents of the players were absolutely fired up.
So it was a typical crowd. It's good to hear. I was running out there. It got a little weird, but I was running with my shirt over my head, kind of like twisting it in the wind, and it was a cold day, so that was a little weird, if you know what I mean. But it was great. Who else we got here? Anyone not Purdue?
2019 my football dad versus Michigan. That's my vote. When JT knocked off that long run. Whew. That's a type of feeling you can only get from football. I will say that.
It's a good one. Mike?
This one's a bit of an old one, but when I was a lot younger, my dad took me to what turned out to be like Monty Ball's breakout game. And that was a lot of fun. I also, around the same time, when they did Winter Classics, I went to the Winter Classic with my dad. I watched, I think the UW women's team played, probably Bemidji State. And I want to say the men played Minnesota, but I could be getting that wrong. But probably those two.
Gotcha. Nathan, have you weighed in?
No, but I got to say it was the first time I ever went to Camp Randall. I think I was in 4th grade. I saw Badgers play Minnesota. This was back during that winning streak. First, saw the game. It was awesome. Don't remember much of it, to be honest, except for Wisconsin winning, grabbing that axe, going to each goalpost. And that's really what turned me on to this program, Wisconsin, and hating Minnesota, honestly.
That's good. Do you not remember it, your 4th grader, because you were too blasted?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, hey, we're in Wisconsin. Kids can go to bars, man. So, yeah.
Yeah, kids go to bars. Kids, they know the kids' names when they walk in and give them a stool at the bar.
Oh, yeah.
At least it's changed since I was there.
The biggest culture shock when I came to Madison was my freshman year. I wanted to watch the Premier League at some bar. It was some random match. I think it was Chelsea Liverpool or something. And it was my first week in Madison. So I go to the bar. I sit down. Usually, back home, like they will give me some shit or whatever. They'll like ID me, or I wasn't of age, so they would like tell me like you can be here, but go off the bar. But I walk in, and he just goes up to me. You want a beer? I'm like, okay, I'm in a different state now, and it's not very similar to the Northeast, to say the least, because I'm not complaining, but that was not the greeting I had expected before I lived in Wisconsin.
That's great. That sounds perfect. You're probably like 500 feet outside of Madison. Yeah, the Madison thing, you get when you leave Madison. One of the things you'll notice is the bars stop having names. They just become like a beer brand. Like there'll be like a Ham's bar or like a Coors Light bar. I'm not sure what the deal is with that. You guys, well, I'm not. You guys are pretty young. You haven't been drinking that long, but except for Nathan. But yeah, what's. Do you guys know what that is?
I don't know, man. There's no character outside of Madison. I'll say that.
Okay,
I miss it, man. I'm getting
these
old.
are Madison people. These are Madison. Y'all are a Madison crew. I'll tell you, I'm a Madison crew. My mansion, my compound is in Madison, in my helicopter pad, and I just love it there. I wasn't sure if I would. I'm a Western Pennsylvania guy, and I've been all around the country. But JJ, had a stop in South Bend before I came to Madison. Pretty successful one. You're probably just a wee tot then. Were you even alive then?
I was not alive then, but I do remember that the result that it gave us, and I'm very thankful for it.
That's amazing. What's it like knowing that's going to be the last national title Notre Dame's ever going to win?
I mean, we've won 2 in the last year, and I am the kind of, as you
football.
As you might have known from my reference to the women's soccer game my freshman year, I am the type of person that is like very invested in the non-football sports, and probably for a few of them more than football. So I mean, we got a men's lacrosse natty, which I think is the most on-brand thing Notre Dame will ever win. And I don't think we can really go unless we win something in I don't know, Gaelic football. And if that ever becomes a sanctioned Division I sport, I don't think we're ever going to win a more on-brand natty than lacrosse. So I can't complain.
Well, you gotta love lacrosse when there are like 9 teams in the country who play lacrosse. So you always got you're always a top 10 team coming
Virginia. The Final Four was just every team you'd expect to be good at lacrosse. That could be taken as good or a bad thing. It was every team you'd expect to be good at lacrosse.
So every asshole, if you could possibly find. Yeah. No offense, JJ. I don't think you expect me as that kind of guy.
I mean, we didn't have any Ivy League teams in which really would have, I think, completed the group. But for Virginia, Duke, and Notre Dame, I think you nailed the elitism pretty well.
Yeah, kind of drips off for sure on those guys. Kate, I'm going to start with you here. What is your favorite Wisconsin sport that's not football or men's basketball?
Ooh, that's a good one. Women's volleyball. I mean, those games are just so fun to go to. I mean, you can't really ask for a better venue too. The field house is great. That place gets rocking, especially for the playoff games. I mean, that's a crazy atmosphere, especially with the team performing. I mean, you have some the best players in the country. Dana Reitke, call it the goat of the sport. So yeah, definitely women's volleyball.
Kate, I don't know if you'll remember this, but about a year and a half ago, I did a podcast for Bucky's Fifth with Dana Reitke, and it was the most gloriously awkward 35 minutes of either one of our lives. It ended up at the end, I think we were friends, but she was coming in expecting, not that I'm not a legitimate sports journalist, but she was expecting like a WISC kind of interview, and I just come in asking her what her favorite. I remember you can watch it there, but there were questions that were a little off-putting to her, and she just eventually realized that, oh shit, this is how it's going to go. And she was a gamer, and she did agree to have her eventual statue on the Wisconsin campus 1 inch shorter than mine, which I thought was a huge win. But she's a great lady. But Devin Robinson she's obviously a fantastic player for the current team, and we've been kind of going back and forth about getting her on the show. So that's my best guess as to what the next one. I want to get Sheffield on too. I want him to jump in the water with me. He'll know what it means. Ryan, favorite sport besides is it? I feel like a few of you are going to say volleyball. It's okay if that's what it is.
Well, I mean, volleyball, we've been the best. I'd probably say hockey, which might be the other boring answer. But, of course, the one year we were good at hockey in my 4 years was the year we couldn't go to games, the COVID year. But, even though we've been pretty bad, going to those games is, a ton of fun. I mean, we should be better with, this new coach, new regime. There's no way we can't be better, the recruiting and stuff. Those games are just so much fun. Even I'm not like the biggest hockey guy, but going in person is pretty awesome.
Yeah, yeah. And I think I echo a lot of people echo you that perhaps the biggest tragedy of the COVID epidemic was the Wisconsin hockey team not having fans that year. So they were a good team, and unfortunately got knocked out early in the tournament. But Cole Caulfield and company were quite a great team. Nathan, anything different than Caden and Ryan?
No, gotta go with volleyball. I mean, I played volleyball in high school and college for a bit. I now coach volleyball, and I just love watching either men's, women's, whoever, and having a team that's really, really good in this state is just, it's awesome. It increases the excitement, and it does so much for like the younger athletes here that are playing volleyball, because that's who I'm coaching, like anywhere between like third grade to high school, and they see those girls play and they're like, I want to do that. So not only are they winning, but they're encouraging young players too, and it's awesome to see.
Coach volleyball. Did you ever coach George Santos?
No, not quite. Not quite. We heard rumors about that a little bit, but they're kind of like Bigfoot a little bit. Yeah.
I think that one might have flown over the heads of some people. JJ, what do you got, man? In volleyball?
Nah, I'm a soccer guy.
Yeah.
Those who are deep into chat lore know I don't know like what the statute of limitations on breaking and entering in the state of Illinois is, but my freshman year I perhaps was able to enter a couple of men's and women's soccer games in Rockford, Illinois, that I don't believe were open to fans. And I was not credentialed media, but I did. I was the only fan or only media, the only person who was able to watch several of those games, and none of them were especially good because my oh my were both those teams. They weren't bad, but they weren't interesting either. And but there was something endearing about watching, I think, 6 total games, all of which either ended 1-0 or 0-0. And then driving back 90 minutes. One time I tried to take the bus and I ended up stuck in the Rockford bus station until 2 a.m, which was an experience. It built a lot of, as a young journalist, it built a lot of character in me, and I credit the great I-90 bus corridor for that experience. I think it made me a better, more prepared writer. But yeah, no, soccer I've had too many experiences with to not say they're my team, even though they haven't exactly brought much postseason joy in the same way that volleyball or women's hockey perhaps have. I
got you. I'm still not getting past the bus thing. Did you end up like a drug mule or anything, or is just anything? Any interesting stories there?
I mean, yeah. So
what's this, buddy?
What ended up happening was the bus. So the game ended at 8. I took the bus there, no issues. The game ended at 8, and I needed to get back to the bus station by 8:30, which shouldn't have been an issue. It was 10 minutes away. But there were no Ubers in the area that night, and I wasn't going to walk from Rockford to Loves Park, Illinois. So I eventually, I forget, I think I called a taxi, like it was the early 2000s, and I got over to Loves Park, and obviously at this point I've missed the bus, and the next bus isn't until 2 a.m. And I wish there was like some sort of funny story where I camped out or whatever, but no, there was a hotel 5 minutes away. I went over there and told them, hey, my bus doesn't leave for 3 hours. You mind if I sit around in your lobby for then? And they were fine with it. So shout out the Marriott Inn in Loves Park, Illinois. They are a friend of the program. They did me a great service because there was indeed a car with the lights on when I went down there to get on the bus. And it was mildly creepy to walk past it. And I didn't make any eye contact. I was just kept my head down, got on the bus and moved away. But I don't know. I don't think I would have been able to stand by that car for 2 hours and just had it kind of gleaming its lights at me.
Good man. You mentioned taking a taxi. Was it strange for you to take an actual licensed person with background checks rather than an Uber with a serial killer?
It was a very weird experience. I had to look up a phone number, call into I think it was some regional airport in Northern Illinois, and do you all have a taxi service? And they did. So again, shout out to the Marriott, shout out to the regional airport in Illinois. All of those big friends of the program.
Yeah, they're huge. By the way, if you're going to take a plane in Illinois, Midway O'Hare. End of list. Ike, what you got?
Volleyball is great. The field house even gets the old people rocking, but I think mine is definitely women's hockey. Most successful program in UW sports. Been going to games for basically my entire life. There's a lot of good memories attached to that. So,
Yeah, they're good, and certainly last
pretty good.
season, the last season they sort of
Yeah.
I won't say they backdoored it, but they won a title that a lot of people weren't expecting them to win. If everyone has a tape, then spoil it for you.
Yeah, it was kind of a down year. They were unseeded going into the tournament and then ended up winning it all, which is great. Mark Johnson's the GOAT. He's but yeah,
Trivia.
I mean, it's truly a very inspiring story to go from unranked to beat probably like the best team in the country to win the national championship, which I believe puts us over the hump as the most national championships in women's hockey.
Freaking amazing. And the men's team, by the way, as I mentioned a few times, has more national titles than Minnesota does, which I will never let them forget that. Mark Johnson, the coach of the women's hockey team, went to a high school called Madison Memorial.
Yeah.
My grandson, Jake Ferguson, and allegedly Joe, whoever that is, also went to Madison Memorial High School. We just closed it. We just tied that off, buddy. All right, this is a word association game. I'm gonna call on you like I'm a professor who's not lazy at Wisconsin. You guys are reading your Onion. Actually, you don't even have. Does the Onion come out like every Tuesday anymore? It's not even like that anymore. That when back in the day, you go to your power lectures on Tuesdays, and the brand new crisp Onion. You guys know what the Onion is, right?
Oh yeah.
Just making fucking sure. Yeah, it was in Madison at that time. That was like it was a Madison. It was like based in Madison. Anyway, that's irrelevant. I'm gonna give you a word or words. It's gonna be a name. Spoiler. And you need to tell me the first thing that comes to your mind when you hear these things. And I'm going to start with JJ on this one. You're getting fat and happy there, waiting being the fourth guy every time. Brett Bielema.
I censored the first word. Well, I'll be diplomatic and say
No, don't be diplomatic. He left the program in the dead of the night to go live in the 47th best state in the country.
I'm sure there are some Illinois fans that are very happy with his body of work there. That being said,
big body.
All I can say is I know his wife is a big fan of yours, Scary.
Well, I do follow her and Heather Flack, just so you know, not their husbands. Actually, Bielema has me blocked. He's the only coach who has blocked me. So it's not just blocking the Sun anymore; it's blocking my Twitter account. Go ahead, JJ. Were you going to finish there?
I mean, no, I got nothing other than he left in the middle of the night, and I hope he regrets that decision next year when we beat them by a considerable amount, because that last game was extremely frustrating, to say the least.
He keeps stealing 1 3-star year from our commits. He may never regret that. Nathan, PJ Fleck. I feel like this is the easy question.
Yeah, I'm going with probably the word everybody's thinking of, narcissistic. The report that came out where like he had to re-enter a room if his team didn't clap enough for him. Like, come on, dude. I mean, I guess I could have like said used car salesman, whatever, but yeah, I mean, I don't like the guy. Don't like narcissist. He's at the top of the list there. So
you say narcissist like it's a bad thing. It's fine. I don't take it personally.
with
Yeah.
PJ Fleck, it's a bad thing.
Yeah, PJ Fleck, he is a narcissist. He's kind of like the Elon Musk of the Big Ten West. That is what I would. That's how I describe him. Hey, Ryan,
I've got a spontaneous question. If you were
sure.
If you were to make PJ Fleck cage fight any other Big Ten West coach, and you can't pick Luke Fickell because we'd all pick Luke Fickell, which one would it be?
God, I'm trying to think of the one that could ball him.
Fitzgerald doesn't count because he got.
No, that's no fun. I might root for Fleck against Fitzgerald.
Yeah, that too.
It sounds like something that Fitzgerald would have going on at Northwestern.
Let's say Bielema.
I was thinking that.
Probably
money on Bielema. It's all over. If he falls on the ground, it's over.
Bielema Fleck would be good because someone has to lose.
I'd probably take Kirk from Iowa. He's old, but I still think he could.
My favorite PJ Fleck.
I still think his hands of steel.
He's 0-6 against Kirk Ferentz at Minnesota. He's never beaten Iowa, which is amazing.
That's awesome.
Like, yeah, he's beaten us, but like 0-6 against Iowa. I mean, they're always good, but they're always like 8-4.
Yeah, exactly.
I had a big argument today. It wasn't really a big argument. I mean, every argument is big for me on Twitter. But some guy was going through like who's getting disrespected, and actually one of them was Wisconsin, Luke Fickell, but the other one was perennial 9-win team Iowa. So of course I'm a curious soul, and I had to dig into the archives of Iowa's records over since 2010, let's say, because they were really good in 09. And they had 9 or more win seasons in the last 13 years. I just had to. Okay, so we're gonna go with Jake Ferguson. That's an easy one.
Oh, great! I love him. One of my favorite players to watch when he was there. You know, should be the Cowboys starting tight end. If you ask me, he's great. Just
over under for Fergie touchdowns this fall.
Ooh,
4.5. That's
what I'm thinking. 3.5, 4.5.
Oh boy, y'all 7.5.
100.
Really? Who's the other tight end in Dallas?
Peyton Hendershot is one, and they drafted some dude. No, Schultz is on Houston.
Oh,
unfortunately for him, yeah. He had to get rid of that bum. He was cock blocking Jake last year. I didn't like that at all.
Exactly.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Caden, the Ohio State Buckeyes football team.
You can't say much because we haven't done much against them past few years. But what the fuck is a Buckeye? That's all I have to say.
It's something that poisons Wolverines. That's what they always say. Some stupid shit like that. But really, what is it?
Exactly. It's a nut. You're telling me your mascot.
Yeah, their mascot is a nut.
But if there's any year it's gonna happen, it's gonna be this year. You got that Fickell magic, man.
I bet our live Badger would absolutely crush that.
All right. Can I talk about this, Scary, real quick about my wants and desires for this football program?
Boy, you got things just got very serious here. Yes, Caden. Let's hear what you. Let's take this very special Scary Alvarez podcast.
All right. I know there's some upper people here in the UW-Madison administration that might find this podcast. If they've made it this far, this message is for you. Luke Fickell, any player on the football team, send it his way. I DM'd Luke Fickell and the chancellor of the university. Still haven't got anything back. But let's get a live Badger at a football game. We can start with one. We don't have to go crazy at first. But if we're talking, 10, 15 years down the line, you got like 10 Badgers walking around.
We gotta get
coming out of the tunnel. Yeah, exactly. Let's pull a stagecoach with a bunch of Badgers. Let's make it happen. They're terrifying.
I like the way you think, man. It's gonna be a house of horrors.
That's what I'm saying.
Nut or corn
based. The Minnesota family section, it's the Badgers. You can do our bidding for us.
I love it. Well, all you gotta do is get those first 2 Badgers, and the rest will take care of itself, buddy. That's what I hear.
Exactly, one at a time.
Okay, so turn the page here. Raise your hand. I have one more name. Who wants this one? Who wants to be the guy that gets called on twice? Ryan. Fran McCaffrey.
He's like the rage monster from the Dude Perfect stereotype videos. It's funny we beat Iowa twice last year, even though we were not good. But he has 0 Sweet 16 wins. He's never made the Sweet 16. You can't get past that. It's hard. Iowa puts up insane offensive numbers every year, but there's something fundamentally wrong when they can't get past around 32. No matter who's on, no matter how many All-Americans are on their team, it's crazy. He was staring at that referee last year, the Iowa boosters, the Iowa boosters stare at him when he can't get to the Sweet 16 every year. I think it's the same look they give this clown. Okay, good. Well, that's I appreciate that. Madison is a gorgeous, cosmopolitan, world-class city with countless things to do and experience and explore. What do y'all do for the other 6 months of the year?
Drink.
Just jump in. I love it.
I'm trying to think. Wintertime. There's that light show. I'm forgetting what park it's in, but kind of on the east side. That light show. I can't remember the name, but that's.
I'll ask around. I'm a Middleton West Side guy. I don't really go at East Madison ever, but I appreciate that. That was more just a fun question. I like to make myself laugh. Who is your favorite current Wisconsin Badger of any sport? And quick description as to why that is. Let's go with Nathan.
Honestly, he hasn't. It's a coach, and he hasn't even coached. It's Phil Longo. I just love him so much. Bringing the air raid offense in, that's something I've wanted since I became a college football fan in 2005 when I got NCAA football for the PS2. But Phil Longo bringing in everybody, bringing in new philosophy. Like, there's a reason why I say this, and I tweeted this out too, but there's 3 people whose picture I look at and smile every time I see them. My girlfriend, Luke Fickell, and Phil Longo. Without a doubt, every time. And I'm just so excited for him, and can't wait to see what he brings to Madison.
He's already your girlfriend, man. It's okay, man. Just gonna appreciate you saying that. Don't tell her it's Fickle first, though.
Oh yeah, no, I told her. She was the first one I told. I was like, this may or may not be out of order, in order, whatever. And she just kind of rolled her eyes. She did laugh, but she called me a dork, and I'm like, yep, you bet I am. So. Oh,
that's just that crazy Hallmark movie banter you two had that everyone loves.
Oh yeah,
it's good stuff. Let's go with Caden. Favorite current Badger.
I have to go Max Klesmit here. He's a dog. I mean, that's a guy you'd go to war with. He'll get on the court. He's diving after balls. He's just a dog. That's what I love. Fun to watch, making plays.
Like Davison without the text.
Exactly, man.
Ryan.
Well, I was also going to go Klesmit. I can't believe Kane stole that from me. This is a weird one, too. I'm going to go Tanner Mordecai, even though he hasn't even started a game yet. Because, I was thinking about this when we were talking about Mertz earlier. This is such a weird QB situation where it's just he's the guy. He's the guy for this year. Nothing's going to change that. No one's upset. It's just, this is our guy. Let's see what we can do this season, and then we'll move on. There's no legacy of the future. It's just right now. And I was looking at his numbers from SMU. He put up some really impressive numbers that no one talked about. It's just in the American, no one cares. But I'm really excited to see him in Phil Longo's offense and to see what he can do.
Love it. JJ?
Not an athlete, but I'm going to go with Chris McIntosh because, you talk about Fickell being, kind of like a coach that you never thought would be the coach of Wisconsin. And that is true. And I love Luke Fickell as well. But the guy that, kind of had in a very short time on the job, the willingness to make such a distinct change and, such a monumental change and then go out, obviously getting rid of Christ was a difficult call, no doubt. But then to follow it up by, taking a swing on someone like Fickell was, really just a legendary move. And it feels, kind of preempted to say that before he's even coached the game. And we'll obviously see how the on-field results look. But in terms of, everything you can know about Luke Fickell before he coaches a Wisconsin game, it does look like a legendary hire and one that he made in only, his second year on the job. That is really, really impressive stuff.
I will say that Chris McIntosh has a legitimate chance, if things fall in line perfectly, to be the second best athletic director in Wisconsin Badger history. I'm not afraid to say. I'll say that right here, right now. He's got the goods, man. And Ike, what do you got?
This is gonna be really weird, but it's Kamari McGee. Mainly, he follows me on Twitter, so that's a big reason why.
Stop bragging, Ike. Stop bragging. I see five other people here who Kamari McGee doesn't follow. Stop rubbing it in, buddy.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I went to the UW Green Bay game, Badger UW Green Bay game last year with some of my friends, and we noticed that Kamari McGee was he was the only good player. So we start, and it was a blowout as it always is, but we started rooting for him. We got a picture afterwards, and then the entire year we were always cracking jokes like Kamari McGee's going to transfer to UW. He's going to do it. And then the offseason, he announced he was going to the transfer portal and came to Wisconsin. So we always like to joke and say that we're the reason why he transferred to Wisconsin. Yeah,
well, I tell you what, the line is relatively short, so we're going to give you guys that mantle. You can wear that crown. And by the way, in serious talk, I would have liked McGee to get a little more run last year. I think it would have helped the team a lot.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Obviously they added some talent, some pieces this year, but I'd like to see McGee give Chucky a little more time to rest periodically. And since we didn't add another point in the portal. Okay, this one is another fun one. We're gonna wrap it up pretty soon here, but you can only save one of the following people from a burning building: Hunter Dickinson, Jordan Bohannon, and Zach Edey.
Yeah.
Who's it going to be? JJ.
Okay. I think I'm going to take Zach Edey because, like, unless I'm missing something, he hasn't done anything, like, specifically wrong to Wisconsin other than just being, like, good at basketball and, well,
Wow.
debatable. We'll go with effective at basketball. He's been effective at basketball against Wisconsin. But to my knowledge, he hasn't done anything, like, explicitly wrong against us, as opposed to Hunter Dickinson, who with the ski mask and the other antics and winning a devil magic game, and then Jordan Bohannon, just general tomfoolery. So I think I'll save Edey just because by all accounts he seems like a decent guy off the court, and I don't dislike Purdue as much as I have disdain for Michigan and Iowa basketball. So I think that's my pick there.
I agree with that. I will say, though, in fairness, the number of noses that followed his elbows last year was pretty startling. And I think maybe some of those guys with a cracked septum might feel a little differently about it. Ryan.
Yeah, I'd have to second that. Like, Dickinson, that shot, like, broke me for, like, a month. Like, that was so bad. Bohannon's really annoying. Edey, he's tall. He's really frustrating to watch, but yeah, I mean, since we beat Purdue, it's like, what's he going to say, Especially funny moment from that game was when Brad got him to, like, trip over him to pick up Edey's, like, third foul, or, like, 15 minutes left. So I still remember that. But, yeah, I don't have anything personally against Edey where I would the other two.
And by the way, I mentioned I brought up with the Badger freshman, which was my second to last podcast I had done, Gus Bus and the lads. And I brought up a couple things about Hunter Dickinson, and they didn't seem to they want to be careful. I know he's not a player anymore, but they're always very guarded. I didn't mean to do that. About what they say on podcasts and stuff. But I mentioned that Dickinson looks like the ugly chain smoker. You can follow the chain smokers. He's like he's not the one that gets to hang around with Halsey. He's the other guy that, like, plays the stupid, like, same notes for every song. I don't know. I just thought I'd get that out there. I feel like I'm in group therapy here. Like, who do you save from that burning building? I'm not sure they're all going to die if you don't save them, but they probably are.
I don't know. Like, Zach Edey's just a disgrace to basketball, and
Yeah,
I'm a
thank
really
you.
big basketball fan. But I don't know. I mean, like, Hunter Dickinson went from like Michigan to Kansas, which are like some of my least favorite basketball programs. And then Bohannon's just a prick. I'll probably also go with Edey, but very reluctantly. I won't enjoy. I would enjoy it, but
I know you'll enjoy it. You're like sitting right there with your fist balled, but I can see it.
Right, yeah.
The Bahamian national team, or some permutation that Adrian Store was playing for them about a little over a week ago. They played Kansas in an exhibition match. Store had 19. They beat Kansas in the first of two games against Kansas. I thought that was a nice thing to see. So a little bit of revenge from that horrible game last year. The refs bungled. That's a shocker, huh? Refs bungling a blue blood game with the Badger basketball team. Who have I forgotten? Caden?
I feel like Edey's the easy answer here. I mean, he's just dominant. It's like he doesn't really do anything that's hateable. But then, of course, Hunter is one of the worst people to walk this earth. I'll say that. That ski mask. Oh, pissed me off. Pissed a lot of people off. And then his antics. I'll say, like JJ said, tomfoolery, probably the best word to describe it. And then Iowa basketball is Iowa basketball, so I just gotta hate over there for that reason. But yeah, I'd say Edey. Seems like a good kid.
Yeah, I feel like you can make the argument, even if it's wrong. I feel like Hunter Dickinson's teammates at Michigan always, like, walked 10 feet in front of him or behind him. I feel like that dude was just kind of on his own there. Like, those guys were like Jet Howard was not friends with that guy. It's just I just feel like he was doing his own thing, and I think he just got the F out of there, and he'll fit right in Kansas, I think. Well, this is good, guys. Well, I'm gonna wrap it up here. I know y'all have some stuff. Well, how many of you are graduated again? A lot. Some of you are in school, some not. Well, JJ, you got some homework to do tonight. But and I got to get in my hyperbaric chamber. Cindy cooked a nice meal for me, a rack of lamb that she's going to keep warming in the oven. But this was a real fun time for you guys, and let's we can go on for hours here, but let's hop on one of these again after Wisconsin wins a Big Ten championship in football and basketball this year. We'll rejoin this, and maybe
we got to get Carson
fair
on.
weather. What's that?
We got to get Carson on the pod.
Yeah, we'll see if he gets an invite. We'll see if he gets with these fair weather Carsons and Eagle Loops.
I think his girlfriend's hamster has the flu again, so I think he's gonna have to miss it out.
Hey, which province in Target? Which province in Canada does his girlfriend live in?
The Northwest Territories, probably, like way up there where nobody knows what's going on.
The one that's hardest to verify.
He actually works a second job where he works at the local Target in the Northwest provinces, and that's how I met.